Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for an interview session for one of the best horror films of 2025 in Push. This is a Shudder original. I'm going to give you a small synopsis of it, and we're also going to bring some amazing guests to talk about their film. Lucas.
And the synopsis is Push follows a relative who must survive a night of terror with a deranged client who shows up at her open house. Nice, short, and sweet there.
No spoilers, you guys. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce the men that brought this movie to life as much as some other amazing horror classics. I'm going to bring them in right now. Justin, what's going on, man?
Hello. Good to see you guys again.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And also, David, what's going on?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having us.
No, thank you guys for another amazing work of art. We've been waiting a year to talk about this, literally.
Yeah.
It has almost been a year.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the time is really bizarre to us, like especially with regards to this movie. It just feels like it just keeps taking forever for it to like come out and for people to see it.
No, and I think with people understanding what you guys' work has been and what you've done, they're in for something amazing. But let's go ahead and kind of get into it. I mean, you guys, of course, for us, one of the best horror films of all time in The Boy Behind the Door. Then you knocked it out the park in close quarter combat with the Djinn that still to this day is terrifying. And now you've brought us into a whole other element in Push. So my first question I have for you guys, honestly, is how did you get to this baseline? You got a character that essentially she's pregnant. Like she's really just trying to sell a house. Like it's innocent as you would think, and you bring her into this scary situation. I don't think that any horror film modern day has tried to go this route. So how did you guys conceptualize this level of fear? One, a pregnant woman, and then two, like being in like a home that she kind of knows, but she doesn't know what the scenarios are going to be. How did you guys conceptualize the idea for this one?
I'll let you start with this one, David, just because part of it's inspired by your acting story.
Okay, yeah. Well, for the idea, one of the sort of like a part-time job I have or had, I guess I still have, is being a real estate photographer. So I was frequently in a lot of these homes by myself. I remember I was shooting one house and it had a really bad signal. It was like up in the Hollywood Hills, and it just had like a really uncomfortable energy or vibe. And I remember calling Justin and telling him like, I think this would be a really interesting scenario for a movie. Obviously, you know, we changed a few things from there to get to Natalie being a pregnant woman, but it was really just from that like everyday could kind of happen to anyone's scenario. What was the first part of the question?
I mean, I think just one, like, as far as like, and it helped me out, Lucas, because you see more horror than me. I don't know too many horror films where the main character is pregnant. So, like, how did you guys even dare to go down that route? Like,
I think for us, it came out of like a thematic place, and like also we also, as you know, really like to have kind of minimal backstory and like minimal dialogue, but still want audiences to really connect to our characters. So we tend to, skew towards characters that kind of have like an innate built-in amount of sympathy. Like we did that with Boy Behind the Door with the kids. Same with the Djinn. This one, it kind of we didn't want to work with kids again. It also just didn't make sense for this story. But that kind of led us into the thought of Natalie being like at her most vulnerable, which would be her being pregnant, we thought. But then it came down to just the themes of what it means to kind of like push for survival and like overcoming grief. And I don't want to spoil things, but like, you know, kind of her overcoming some trauma from her past, like through this pregnancy and things like that. So it kind of all grew out of that, in addition to the initial incident that happened with David at that house being like terrified.
Yeah, no, you guys masterfully handled that, and at any given moment, I just didn't know what was going to happen. But I think it kind of leads into my second question. One of the things that I realized in this is there's an absence of light in this film, in ways that kind of allow the actors and I think the atmosphere to feel so much more tense. And there's moments where people can kind of pop in, pop out, and you don't know where it's going to shift. The other thing that I feel like is absent is time. Towards the back half of the film, there's a marker in time that you like, man, this is about survival. You have to go and get this. And so I was wondering like how you guys kind of navigated that, because I think it adds to the buildup for this, and the fear factor behind it, because like you can't see what's going on, and because this is taking place at night, and even in the house is a lot of darkness, and then because there's like this gap in time, now you feel like even more like you're on the edge of your seat. By the last half of the film, you just don't know where this is going to go. So I was going to see if you guys can speak towards that.
Do you want me to take that? Or are you gonna
can start. Yeah, you start. That's a really complex question, Sam. I just
it is. I think for the first part of it, in terms of like the style, I guess we'll call it like the style of the film in a way, the visual style. We really wanted to kind of like pay homage to like, I mean, we kind of do this even with some little Easter eggs in it, but going back to like a Hitchcockian vibe. And you know, David was actually talking to me about this earlier, and how, you know, we really, when you think about like those Hitchcock films, like so many of them are either black and white, or they kind of feel like they have these muted colors, and we really wanted to kind of play around with that vibe. We wanted to have a little bit of a noirish vibe in there as well. And then we also really wanted to lean into the 90s, which is, you know, the films that we grew up with, and those have like, especially when you think about like, I Know What You Did Last Summer, which was a big inspiration for this in a lot of ways. Those films like have like a nice amount of like grain, but like lower contrast, like these nice textures that we just don't really see today. And I think visually that's kind of how we landed at that aesthetic. In terms of just like putting the viewer into like, you know, feeling like you can't really see what's coming, we really wanted them to feel like they were with Natalie and on this journey with her. Like they don't have any more information than she has. You know, even as like she's touring the house in the beginning, we're really touring along with her, you know, these long unbroken takes, because we really want the audience to be in the same mindset as her, and like to feel that same sort of lack of familiarity with this house, and like learning about it as they go. And that, I think, inherently increases the tension as it goes along. And then, you know, by the back half, like what you were talking about, yeah, we just kind of know as much as she does. So I think that's what helps ramp up that tension. Did that answer all the questions? I feel like I missed something.
I think you missed absence of time.
Absence of time. Are you talking? I don't want to spoil it, but are you talking about like the gap towards the like final act, like a jump in time?
I think it's just what I'll say without saying too much myself is that there's a timetable, and like it's kind of like it's more so survival.
Oh, okay.
Deeper than just one kind of thing, and
a race against time, essentially.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's up against the clock. That was something that was very important to us. We like increasing the stakes. We like upping the ante, and really just when a character seems like they're at their lowest, just kind of making it even worse. So that was that's kind of where that came from. That just came from our, I guess, horribly torturous minds of wanting to put characters through the ringer.
Okay. I'm going to let Lucas.
I was say, 'cause we're going to go much simpler. Sam gives you the most intricate, unnecessarily detailed questions humanly possible. My first question is, from the one shot at the beginning of the film, and just from the movements throughout the house, this film feels so grand in scope compared to how contained the Djinn and Boy Behind the Door was. Was this a concerted effort to say, hey, let's try to broaden everything just to open it up a little bit more and to show people that this style can work in any atmosphere that we put it towards?
Yeah, I think so. Again, we were really working with a very small, tight budget and resources.
Mhm.
Honestly, not super much more than what we had on Boy Behind the Door, like in the grand scheme of movie budgets.
Yeah.
I think it really came down to just having like that location, and then also like what Justin was saying, like really being inspired by a lot of those like influences from like the 90s and more classical like cinematography, really trying to like emulate a lot of that style. But yeah, I think like we really did try to push ourselves on this one. It's so hard to even get the opportunity to make a movie, and it had been so many years since we had made Boy Behind the Door that we thought, you know, let's just really try to like go there if we can. And we're already thinking about it for our next one, how we can go there more, because I don't think we went there enough.
And it's so like tricky because like we do always want to like push ourselves like extra each time, and it's like come on, give us a bigger budget. Like we have so these like really like grand like ideas that we really want to like showcase like an artistry that I feel like we haven't been able to yet. And I feel that we fortunately, you know, Boy Behind the Door and the Djinn taught us a lot of how we were to like help us become a little more resourceful to add that grandeur for this one. And now it's like, okay, well, now we can actually even take what we've learned from here, and if we're given like an even bigger budget, like just imagine what we could do. So we're just like we're really hoping that we can can pull that off with and just get a few more bucks in the bank to do that.
Oh, definitely for just the amazement of this project. But I also want to focus on the two leads here because Justin pointed it out perfectly of the influences of 90s horror, where you get Raul, who feels like the boogeyman throughout the course of this film. And then you have Alicia, who feels like the ultimate feminist icon in a film. Was it the goal to say, okay, we're going to build a film around these two characters and make these two characters so compelling that an audience couldn't turn their backs from either one of them?
I'll let you go, David.
There we go. I don't think that was the initial goal. I think the initial goal was just trying to like make a movie at all, and then tell a scary story. But when we did start the development process, and when we cast Alicia and Raul, thanks to our amazing casting director who's worked on all our movies with us, Amy, we really got inspired by trying to craft more of those like archetypes, like the more classical villain. I know we were really inspired by Halloween, Michael Myers for Raul's character, especially towards like the end of some of especially in like the editing process. I think we were especially influenced, but definitely throughout. And then Alicia, it was, I think, a very similar thing. You know, we just love the genre so much. So a lot of those things I think just sometimes come out subconsciously. But Laurie Strode, I know we talked a lot about like Sarah Michelle Gellar, Sandra Bullock, and then also like all of the Hitchcock blondes, you know, with their beautiful hair and clothes, and just that very classical, traditional aesthetic.
And yeah, and I mean, David, you were the one that had the idea, I feel, for in terms of like the design of her wardrobe to really hearken that to like Princess Diana. There were a lot of things, like there's a very similar like outfit that she wore at one point, and I think that, you know, we were really trying to like mine as much as we could from like the era of the 90s and just like that vibe in general, be it in cinema or otherwise. So yeah, like, and just once we like met with Alicia, we really knew that she just completely embodied Natalie. And we were just like completely sold that, yeah, this is this is our lead. Raul we were familiar with beforehand, and we actually sent him a letter, just like essentially asking if, you know, he would consider being in the movie, and we didn't really think that he would say yes, because we're just like, there's just no way, like, why would he want to be in this like tiny movie that like legitimately has like barely a budget above Boy Behind the Door. And but I don't, he somehow he responded to it, and we met with him and we hit it off, and he agreed, and it just we're just so thankful because their chemistry makes this movie. So yeah, we really got lucky.
I mean, from Raul coming from, to me, playing a hero in Inspection, was the last film I saw before this one of him, and him absolutely terrifying me throughout this entire process. One is an amazing transition that we have here, especially considering everything that happens in this movie Push here. Sam, what's your final thoughts on Push?
Yeah, no, you guys, man, I don't know how you did it. I mean, the thing about this film, it kind of lasted with me. Like, I think we ended up watching it, and I was like, man, I need a minute. Like, I ended up watching it again, and I was like, they have crafted something really interesting. It's almost like you guys are building like a little world. And I mean, I'm more curious about what conceptual ideas you have next. I know you can't divulge any of that, but I think that you've both landed something different that the horror genre needs. And I think it's not just originality, it's conceptual, like designs of how these scenarios can be fashioned out. A lot of times, like there's a trend of how horror movies have to work, but I think you guys have been able to break open that box and make it something completely different. And you can see it in the different sprinkles in this. Even in the last act, I was like, wait, what is happening right now? To like, wait, no, we're still grounded on where we're going from a trajectory standpoint. So I just have compliments for you guys. I don't want to gush about it because I know we only have a little amount of time, but that's my thoughts on it. And thank you for the world building you're bringing to this film and moving forward. Lucas, I'll put it back to you.
I mean, almost the same exact thing. I've been waiting so long for everybody to see this movie. I have told everybody humanly possible, hey, this movie comes out Friday. I need you to watch it. This movie's amazing. I had people from our channel that this was in my top 10 films of last year because of when I saw it. And everyone's like, oh, so how are you going to push a movie that we haven't seen yet? And it's like, now you get the chance to see just how amazing this movie is. This is possibly the most intense film I had seen in about a decade. Just how relentless it is throughout the entire thing, but you also feel the passion of the lead characters, and that's what makes it so interesting. And right, I've told both of you before, like, to me, you are what horror movies need to be and what this genre needs right now, which is a fresh take on everything, where you don't get the rinse repeat type of horror films that we're accustomed to getting. With you all, we have gotten at this point 3 classics. You're 3 for 3 right now with us, and that unto itself should be celebrated.
Yeah, it's hard to like win Lucas over on horror movies, I promise you. And they terrify me. I don't like, I'm not dedicated to a specific lane, but yeah, you guys, if you're hearing this and watching this interview, go and check it out. It's coming out this Friday on Shudder. It'll be available. You guys, you have anything to leave over to the audiences about anticipation for the film and what you want from them to get from the film?
Well, first, just thank you.
you guys like overhyped it too much now.
Everyone watching, like, just temper your expectations maybe a little bit. I don't know. But thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
we appreciate all the kind words and support. Like, truly, we're very every movie. Even saying we did a movie, but every time it's been so nerve-wracking. But I think especially with this one, we've been really nervous because I guess we kind of have felt there's been this expectation after Boy Behind the Door did so well and the Djinn did well. Like, can they keep it up? Can they do better? We want to do better, but we're also still playing kind of with the same box of crayons. So we're also like restrained or constrained in it. So I don't know. We're really hoping people enjoy it because we're really proud of everything that went into it, the performances, all the crew. Like, being able to make a movie at all is hard, but especially like with the limited resources and indie film, I know everyone really gave it like 100%, 200%.
Yeah, we just want people to enjoy the ride. So, because it was like. It was tough to like pull it off with these limited resources, and we're just proud of being able to like have something to show for it. Honestly, every time we get to make a movie, we're just like excited to have the opportunity and to get it out there to people. So
yeah, well, congratulations, you guys. I mean, as humble as you are, you're also equally as talented. So we appreciate you guys. We can't wait to see whatever your fourth film is going to be. Yeah. We'll talk after this. We got to go, guys.
Yeah, we'll have the real talk.
This Friday on Shudder again. Push. Check it out. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and the following week also.
Just
keep on watching until the numbers look ridiculous.
And then go back and see The Boy Behind the Door, and then the Djinn, then see it again.
There you go.
Take care, you guys. Thank you.
hey.